for a good program, you have a horizontal pull, a horizontal push. Once again, a push is like a bench press or a push-up. Pull is like a row. A vertical pull, which is like a pull down. A vertical push, which is shoulders. A squat pattern or a knee dominant pattern, which is like a lunge or squat. And a hinge pattern, which is like a deadlift. You can even throw hip thrusts in there, RDL, that kind of movement. And for
balanced program.
And for fun, some arms. I think that's a good program.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Movement and Performance Podcast, where it is my goal to help people get active, connect with their body, and perform better. Today I have with me Chris Parnell, and we'll be talking about personal training 101. So if you're new to personal training, or if you're thinking about considering doing it, this is a great episode for you to tune in. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, all right, so another question for you then. Why the need for personal training in our modern world? Because if you think about it, it's a relatively new invention in the grand scheme of life, right? People didn't have personal trainers, I don't know, back in days of empires or hunter-gatherers, or even just 40, 50 years ago, why in this modern world do you think it's needed to have a personal trainer?
Personal training really isn't essential. It's really not necessary. I think it's also worth mentioning the statistics or the market research around it. There's a ton of people who are actually affording personal training. The number is these people make over $100,000 a year, or their household income is that, something like that. So there's a smaller demographic of people who actually can afford personal training,
right?
And that's one. Two, once again, any physical activity is a good activity. So whether this person is in the gym doing God knows what,
right,
at the gym,
better than nothing.
Better than nothing, man.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Good for you. Personal training is a way to elevate the individual who is really seeking to transform their lifestyle and their aesthetics, whatever it may be. That is when personal training comes into handy. And if you're a good personal trainer, you can help someone transform their lives. That's straight up. So in the modern world where everything's in front of our faces, we're being sold everything, literally I'm on Instagram and I can buy 50 things in 1 second, literally. Personal training is a way, I'm thinking about more lifestyle stuff, food and everything's in front of your face. Personal training is essential because you have an optimistic, grounded individual, right, who's going to help you around the noise, so to speak, and help you really understand overall health, or good overall health, and just improving your overall fitness, but also just understanding around this holistic view around your life.
Do you think that most people who take on a personal trainer do it for body composition reasons? Looking to the main goal for them is, most people say is health, but I think one of the biggest goals is usually when transforming someone's body.
Absolutely. I mean, people who come to me straight up say hey, I want to look better. Hey, I want to be stronger. And I think that's cool. We all want to look good and feel good. That's a valid reason to want to do personal training. I do think personal trainers should also let their client know, hey, this is more than just lifting and progressively overloading every single week. This is hey, are you getting your sleep? Are you getting your nutrition? Are you eating? Because when people start training, especially with me, and before we even talk about nutrition, they're gonna see their body composition change. It's cool, it's the newbie gains, and then they hit a wall, or they feel hey, what's going on? It's not a plateau. It's you just have to also now adjust your nutrition. Like it's a whole thing that happens. It's not like, hey, one thing here and then everything gets better. I think that's probably why some people fall off or don't see the results they want to see, because they're just simply not applying like all of the other things that are necessary to have the body they want, or strength even they want.
Yeah, so it's a holistic thing. Even though that's your goal, you're going to be touching on every area of somebody's life.
Absolutely. I think personal trainers should be doing that. At least know the fundamentals. Like when it comes to like, hey, you need sleep, this amount of sleep is recommended. This amount of, you should at least increase your protein. You don't have to give anything like specific because you're not an RDN, right? But they should know like about the different facets of life to contribute to someone's overall success.
So how does someone find a good trainer? Or like, where can they seek someone out? Or are there any good tips that you could give someone when looking for a good trainer?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's the reality, especially in New York City, because of the population, like this jungle we live in, it's just as a jungle in the fitness industry. So I say that because it just means that there's a bunch of trainers on every block. Like literally every block in New York City, there's a bunch of trainers. To choose the right one, I think it's important to know what the coach specializes in. Like you don't want to, you're not trying to, seek muscle. Like if you're trying to seek muscle building, a muscle building coach or someone to help you get stronger, you're not going to go to an endurance focused coach, right? Like, so make sure you know what your coach is doing. Look for testimonials for this coach. Like look to see if they can get the job done for you that you're trying to seek out. Look for how they speak. Book a consultation, and just see if you can vibe with the coach, because you don't want to hire someone and spend your hard-working money on a coach that you don't even get along with.
Right.
So it's important to do your homework as well, and maybe give your coach a quiz. Like do some research on the topic that you really want to get good in, and ask your coach how they feel about these questions. Like, and if it aligns with your philosophy or what you read that you like, then maybe that's your coach.
What are you said like some of them have different expertise. What might be some areas of expertise in personal training that somebody would have?
I would say something like strength building. Like you can be like a powerlifting coach, someone that can actually get you stronger.
Right.
Even though, whatever, all training is getting you stronger somehow.
Right.
Muscle building coach, like maybe like this person can really assist you with building muscle and just like changing your body composition, or body recomp in some cases. Kettlebell coaches, people are specialists in kettlebells. PTs, right? That's a type of training as well.
Yeah. Are there any new, trends in the world of personal training? So like I'm also thinking in the realm of like maybe even cardio stuff too, right? Like boxing, people incorporate boxing, people incorporate all these. Is there any new?
It's nothing like brand new, like, oh, you gotta do this, or there's nothing like really hyped up right now, other than, once again, kettlebells are still a thing. And no shades to kettlebells. I'm a purist when it comes to training. I'm all about muscle building, strength. All I need is a barbell for my clients, a trap bar, and some dumbbells. That's all we need. Like, we don't need anything else. And I can get you pretty jacked with that.
Right.
So kettlebells to me is just, I don't get the hype. Not saying there's anything wrong with kettlebells, but yeah, it's definitely a hype. But I think where it comes from, during the pandemic, obviously there was no gyms open.
Right.
Dumbbells were expensive. Kettlebells were like, I think kettlebells were like less expensive. And then people just went crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that impact it, whether it's money, space, whatever.
Yeah, 100% space, yeah.
What does a good program look like? I know that's a huge question to bite off, but like maybe just a couple of tidbits that if someone new started personal training and, you know, they're starting to embark on the journey, like maybe there's like something that would be like a red flag for them, or like, oh, I know I'm on the right path. Maybe like one or two tidbits to show like, oh, this would be an example of a good program.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, man. I can only speak for myself and how I coach, I guess, and for this question. I think I heard someone say this once, I forgot who it was, so if they see this and hear this, please forgive me for not shouting you out. But it's funny, because programming is secondary. But firstly, someone has to be consistent. That's to get to their goals, straight up. Like, you and I can follow the same program. If I'm going back and forth every other week or every 3 weeks, and you're every single week, you're just doing it, right, you're going to progress way faster than I ever could, no matter what. That's straight up. But as far as programming, I think it's important that every single program, for a good program, you have a horizontal pull, a horizontal push. Once again, a push is like a bench press or a push-up. Pull is like a row. A vertical pull, which is like a pull down. A vertical push, which is shoulders. A squat pattern or a knee dominant pattern, which is like a lunge or squat. And a hinge pattern, which is like a deadlift. You can even throw hip thrusts in there, RDL, that kind of movement. And for
balanced program.
And for fun, you know, some arms.
Of course.
And of course, some cardio in there, like some, you know, something to be aerobic for like 2-3 minutes, just for the overall cardiovascular health. But I think that's a good program.
Yeah. I definitely think balance is essential. You know, everybody has their one thing that they want. You know, I hear a lot of ladies, and not to say that this can't go in any other direction, but a lot of ladies want glute. Yeah, a lot of fellas want the arms.
Absolutely.
But like, you know, if you're just training your glute, you might run into an injury. At some point you gotta, you know, balance it out a bit.
Yeah. Or just not look symmetrical.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of women, like you said, even and same thing with men, like the upper body, like they're jacked, and it's like, you're wearing shorts, it's like, yo, what happened? And same thing with the ladies. Ladies have, you know, glutes, and there's like, you just can tell they never touch their upper body. And it's no shame to that, but you can do whatever you want, who cares? But I'm also agreeing with you, like as far as balance, you just need to work your whole body, and you actually get stronger and just build more self-efficacy in the gym by working everything, you know?
We met at the lab at Lehman College from the Brad Schoenfeld up there, which is really cool.
AMD lab, yep.
Yeah. Any tidbits in regard to, you know, again, most people are looking for hypertrophy, strength training. Any tidbits you learned from being in the lab, or big takeaways?
A lot.
I know, right? It's like, where do you even start there?
I would say, it's a lot to get into for sure. I think recently I can say this. A takeaway, and often I like make videos on like studies that have been published recently. Right. So one of them was like exercise order, which is like ultimately the finding is ultimately it doesn't really matter, the exercise order, especially when you're looking for muscle growth versus strength. Maybe strength, you put like the bigger lifts that you want to prioritize first versus whatever. But oftentimes you're in the gym, you're like, a machine is taken, and you have a program here, and you're like, fuck!
Right. Just skip it, go to the next one, and come back.
Now I'm so much more chill. I'm just like, okay, that's taken, program, okay, I'll do this and come back.
That's valid.
And I'm just like, you know what? It's not a big deal. Like, whatever. Like, I'll be fine. That's a big takeaway for me. I mean, there's a bunch, but that it's like something practical. I think people can take away from that. I know often, to be honest, Anthony, like people aren't really following programs at the gym like that anyway.
Yeah, which is wild too. But.
If you are, just know that exercise order, is not that serious. You can do whatever you want. When it comes to muscle growth, whatever order you want.
Yeah. recently, there's always the new buzz of things, but I've always done supersets back in the day, but I haven't done them for a while. And the new study came out about the supersets, and it's a great way to save time. And I found a lot of value in that. I brought some supersets back into my routine. I try to do opposites with my supersets as opposed to same. So meaning, for example, horizontal push and pull pairing as opposed to a horizontal push and a horizontal push. But so when I'm doing that, it really is a time saver, and I love it.
Major time saver. And that was the finding. It found like, I think it was the superset group saved 36% more time. Which is wild. And I was there too. You were there. Like, you would coach someone in the traditional set group for like an hour and change, and then the superset is like 35 minutes they're out. I'm like, oh, yes. So that's pretty cool.
And go for it. The other big one was the stretch. So the importance of stressing the muscle in the lengthened position. And I get things that kind of like, actually that I maybe wasn't as transparent until after that study. But now even things like getting the deep stretch on a dumbbell bench press versus just a regular flat bench. Now I value it a little bit more, and
absolutely.
Any opportunity. There's also times I will just work maybe that beginning zone where I'm in that most stretched position.
Absolutely.
Versus think like a chest fly. Where like towards the end you're kind of like there's not much there anyway. I kind of stay in that window.
No, absolutely. I think I made a video actually on the chest fly. Because often at the gym, people are just align themselves like with the chest or the little handle, whatever. But I'm like trying to get that extra stretch here. It's funny you say that though, because everything that I'm learning in the program, I'm like implementing it when I'm working out. But it's also sometimes just like hard or I guess frustrating. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it's kind of like the more you know, the more grief you have. I think it's like a biblical thing, but anyway. But it's like, because like you're at the gym and then like, oh, I'm going deep. And gotta make sure my posture is good. Gotta make sure I'm super.
It's much to think about.
Dude, it's too much sometimes. It's like, shit, I wish I could just enjoy lifting.
And you also can't this is the other thing you learn too is a lot of that stuff you're talking about, it doesn't really matter that much. Just, if you compare, I did a whole episode with Guillermo Escalante on advanced lifting. And he pretty much said there's not much difference. There is no advanced lift that's gonna get you better than traditional lifting. So if just go to the gym and lift, some of this other stuff could be just giving yourself some variety, maybe again saving some time, maybe some other little things you're talking about the cherry on top and that little 5% difference, but generally speaking the 95% is just lift consistently.
Just lift consistently. If you really want to build some muscle, just lift when you don't feel like it, lift when you're out of town, lift when it's the holiday season. Lift. Just lift. Don't let anything stop you. Just lift. And it's not to be extreme about it and who cares about my family and friends, but it's just lift. Don't let anything stop you from getting that day or days in the gym and you'll be fine. Because the differences are not that significant. You're absolutely right.
And I think for me, because there's all these debates, or I remember hearing things with ignorance a bit when growing up, I've grown to really appreciate the importance of muscle. And the best way that we have in a modern society to preserve muscle is going to be lifting. So and especially as we age, especially if you sit for your work, especially if you're at a computer for most of your day, you're not you need to provide a stimulus that's going to help preserve muscle. And the best way to do that is going to be resistance training in our modern world, right? So what do you think is the future of personal training? I know it's a big question, but like, will it remain consistent for a while, you think? Do you think there'll be new trends that pop up, or is there a way that you think we should go, or, you know?
Oh man, I think that is a loaded question. Technology is gonna continue growing, and I think we're gonna see just a boom and people just being more knowledgeable of what their body's doing. You have devices that they can wear that literally tells them, hey, you had terrible sleep, or hey, you had good sleep, or you're dehydrated, or like, it's just gonna be able to tell them so much,
so quick and easily. Yeah.
That for the personal trainer, while that can be confused, like I guess sometimes interfere with their beliefs, maybe.
Right.
It is helpful for the trainers to know that stuff, and also it's important for trainers to know that stuff and to like get devices where they can try out. Like we have to stay on top of it too, because if we don't, then you're gonna be that trainer that's left behind. Yeah, for sure.
So probably more feedback with tech.
100%.
Learn more about yourself and what's going on in your body.
Yes, I agree 100%. I think technology is going to have the biggest impact with personal training. I mean, even AI. I'll never forget a friend of mine.
Snap. We'll probably have AI coaches though. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like that. Like, dude, I mean, ChatGPT can spit out an entire program for you and give you the evidence-based approach around it. It's actually pretty crazy. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, for me, I'm in the evidence-based space. I feel like I know, not I know everything, but I'm pretty knowledgeable of things. But ChatGPT can spit out some good
stuff. Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, if you're not a trainer that's educating yourself, then you're done. Like,
I think we're still at the phases though where you still got to check up on it. There's a couple of things that I ask it to spit out, and then I'm like, I wouldn't, It can, you still got to have an expert eye to check it. I feel like it's not officially fully there yet.
I agree 100%. I also think, just going back to the whole picture of having a trainer in general, is that human interpersonal connection. Like, clients talk to me and they share like everything. Like, there's things that my client shares with me that they probably don't tell their significant other or their mom, or just like anything that happened during the day. Probably I'm the first person to get like that
You're
story.
You're a therapist and a trainer.
So I think that's a position that we also have in our clients' lives too. Aside from, of course, training. But
I think as you were talking, I was starting to think of some stuff too. I think a big part of the future will be a lot of that social emotional component, because AI, I mean, who knows, maybe AI will evolve to have more emotion and we can feel like whatever, but like, the other big piece is just the brain. I feel like we've hammered home things about obesity, and it still isn't always motivating enough to people. Like sometimes they hear like, okay, I'm obese, but you know what, whatever. Like, or it almost seems like that's so far away sometimes, because, to gain weight can take time, lose weight can take time, but social emotional can be today. You go and work or do an exercise, in the morning before you go to work, and you're gonna feel good. Like, I feel like there's going to be a lot around anxiety and how exercise helps anxiety, how it helps depression, how it helps social emotionally, how it helps preserve the brain, how it helps learn, how it helps you to interact and work better and be more productive. I think there's going to be a movement towards how this exercise is impacting your brain right now.
I agree. And I hate to sound like all motivational hoo-ha.
Go for it.
But I think it comes down to also, like, yes, have a personal trainer, and yes, like, however, ultimately it's going to come down to the client also, like, just having the will to do it. Like, it's more than just showing up once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week with your coach. It's like, like, the days you don't want to eat healthy or eat that clean meal, like, shut up
and do it. And push, right?
Like it's too much of this gap of like training. That's all I need to do, and then I go out and live my life. Like, because that's how a lot of people do see it. So I think, like to your point, as people become more, knowledgeable in this and have the resources to do so, it's going to be important for the trainer to also just know that that's the thing and to stay on top of like the newest data or research.
Yeah. And I think as much as we look at the science of things, right? Like AI will be good at math, it'll be good at the science, but sometimes it might lose out on that artful piece. There is still art there. And when I think of the art side, I think about individuality. So I think about, we're not just robots. So like if you do spit out this one program, it's not going to work for everyone. Absolutely. There is an individual component about you that I need to get to know you, and I need to like learn about you and modify this slightly. All the research always says like, these are general findings, but even within the research, and we see it, there's always outliers, and that's the art, that's the individual piece. Like we're not just robots,
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think there's not a one size fits all approach or one cookie cutter program that's going to work for every single person. Absolutely not. I think what I was alluding to is that, yes, that is totally right. And once again, as I mentioned before, programming is secondary. It's going to come down to this individual, like showing up week after week, doing the shit that just sucks. And I say it sucks because, it's the same thing. Like my clients, when we find a movement that works for them and they're newer, we stick with that movement for weeks on end. Like as yourself, when you told me about your programming earlier. And we progress that with more reps, more sets, more weight, and they get damn good at that. Build some confidence, some self-efficacy, and then we switch on to something else and they get better at that. And it's because, like you said, everyone is different. Like, so a lunge might not work for you, and it works for this guy over here. A squat may not work for me, but it works for this guy. So it really just depends on that, but also finding the exercises that work, that they enjoy, to keep them engaged and wanting to come back to continue with personal training.
Yeah. Do you do protein shakes? Do you recommend for people? Because like, it almost seems impossible nowadays to get the amount of protein that you should be getting, Dude,
I had a protein shake before this.
So did I.
Yeah. I think it is impossible to get protein through food every single day.
At least in our modern world. Like back to that point. You have to have modern solutions for a modern world.
You make a great point. And for millennials, most of my clients are millennials. So, and they're working hard. They're at work. They don't have real time. Some of them have families. They're not really into that meal prepping lifestyle, and it's okay. Right. So for them, yes, adding a protein shake is
a simple way to get it.
Simple way. Like I always recommend like Fairlife, the nutrition shake or the Core Power shake, because they're tasty, and if you buy them in bulk, you save a bunch of money. But that's like a great shake. Or just like, once again, like adding some more to the diet. Usually it's funny because people think they're eating a lot and they're not. And what's happening is, from my understanding of just how this works with our physiology, is this is all metabolic adaptation, where they don't eat a lot throughout the week, and then they eat a bunch on the weekend or drink or whatever, and their body holds on to that to keep them alive. Right. And over time, it just gets stored as fat to keep them alive, and that's why we have the like skinny fat phenomenon.
Right.
But yeah, it's really just finding a way that's going to fit their lifestyle. But whether it's protein, carbohydrates, people think carbs are bad. That's a whole other conversation. Damn.
I know, there's so much.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
But carbs aren't bad.
Yeah, no. I love it, dude.
You could say it real quick.
I'm eating carbs and drinking carbs all day.
If anything, that's your high intensity fuel for training.
It is.
You need some carbs, and you know, I tell people, actually, we're both not dietitians, but you know, any excess calories get stored as fat. Carbs aren't necessarily treated any different. It's just, is it excess carbs or is it not excess carbs? You can eat carbs, it doesn't matter.
What comes down to body composition is literally just calories.
Yeah.
Like, if you're eating, the macronutrient composition can happen later, but if you're eating more than you consume, if you're eating more than you burn per day, then of course you're going to gain weight. If you eat less, you're going to be in a deficit. And if you eat like around the same, you're going to be in a maintenance period. You're going to build some muscle. It's going to be fucking great.
Yeah. And look, we could go back to that picking, you know, I say like picking the fly shit out the pepper. My father would say that one too. But like, you know, that 10% with some other. But generally speaking, the bulk of the 95% here is just simply, are you eating in excess or you're not?
Dude, one thing I got to say, I mean, people look at certain individuals in the gym that are more muscular or have like a leaner physique than others, and sometimes they point and say like, oh, that person's on drugs, or oh, that person's genetics. Like yes, some of that is all true. some of that is true, but I also will be remiss if I didn't say that person just fucking works hard. Like,
absolutely.
Like, people think it's so easy to put on muscle and it's so easy to do this. People still come to me till this day saying, I don't want to get bulky. I'm just like, I give him a dead stare and I was like, I've been lifting for a while and I'm not even like Ronnie Coleman. Like, it's going to take a lot to get jacked. Like, and I think people really have this skewed view of that still to this day. So I think it's just like, just lift. We go back to it. Just lift, okay? Just lift. Just shut up.
Shut up and lift. No, you need a little bit of that. You need some of that. You know, I always believe in balance. I believe in gas and I believe in brake. I think you need both in life. And there's times you need to kind of like listen and understand and adjust and individualize. And then sometimes it needs to be just shut up and do it. Like, you know, you need to get a little hard. You need to have some discipline. You need to push it. Change is going to require discipline. You're not getting around that. You got to put in the work. Humans always want to get away from work. We're like programmed for that. So like, you're going to do anything. You'll come up with the best intellectual debate. Everybody becomes a lawyer. Everybody's like, just shut up and do it. There is a little bit of that.
Dude, I was in the fucking hospital. In the hospital for over a month. And I had a stroke. And I could have easily turned that TV on every single day and just let the days go by, feeling sorry for myself, hating to be in there. And believe me, I did. Believe me. And been bitter about it. Or I did the opposite, where I could be like, you know what? Shit, this sucks. But I'm still here. I can't walk the same. I can't talk the same, but I'm still here. Let me read some books. Let me see what's going on in the world. Let me observe the industry from the sideline now. And that's what I did. And I just I shifted my mindset from feeling like a victim, bitter about things, to like, okay, this is what it is right now, but I'm going to see a way out of it. And I think people don't do that often, because I'm not anything special. I'm literally a human just like everyone else. But I think it's literally just shifting your mindset. Like, hey, this shit hurts right now, personal training. I'm sore, but this is what's going to make me better. Like, it's simple as that. I have clients sometimes that hate feeling the soreness or just like the work. And yes, I'm still the coach that's going to push them there because that's who I am. But I'm like, yo, this is okay. It's okay to feel like this. Like, this is a part of the process. If you really want this, this is what you have to do. And you just have to accept it, you know?
Yeah, all good personal trainers, I think, have to be motivators too, because that's the discipline. You're helping people to overcome that discipline hurdle. So you kind of have to be a motivator.
Absolutely. I think hold on, I actually read something. I'm gonna read this to you.
Yeah, go for it.
I found this when I was doing little stuff. But this, I'll read this last sentence. This lady said, her name is Brandy Binkley.
Okay.
This is an old article. She works at, I think it was, NSCA. So it's National Sports and Conditioning Association. Sorry. So she's just wrapping up her article, talking about personal training, blah, blah. I'm gonna read this last sentence. And she's just regarding what you need to be as a personal trainer to be successful in the modern world. Lastly, it takes someone with an intense internal drive, compassion, intelligence, understanding, and a great personality. Boom, that's it. And I think I pasted that there because I was like, yeah, it really does sum up that. Like, there are trainers that I see, and I'm not trying to get on people, but the reason why you're gonna get left behind is because you're not showing any internal drive. Your client is showing up before you do. You're not giving that energy. And I'm not saying you have to be this person, like this loud person, but you got to be more hyped to be there than your client.
Yeah.
Like, you're the cheerleader. Like, you got to be the person that they're like, wow, I can't wait to see this person because I can't wait to train.
Yeah, I think people become a little bit of the people that they're surrounded around. You know, I used this reference the other day where I said, people are no different than air. Right? When we breathe in air, if the air is bad, it impacts us. If the air is good, it impacts us. And human beings are very similar. Could we think of them as a separate body? But they're being internalized in the same way that you would ingest air. And like, you know, so you could think about that in twofold. But as the trainer, what air are you providing for your client so that they can, you know, take in some of that energy and really feel that fuel?
No, I agree 100%, man, 110%. You said something earlier, and I can say, I mean, I forgot the amount of times clients have told me this, but they come in feeling a certain way, and then they leave like, yo, Chris, this is the best. I needed this.
Yeah.
And
church almost.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I hate to even say it's like therapeutic because I feel like it's overused. But in a way,
but there is,
training for me is therapeutic. It's personal for me. Like, I posted the other day, like, you know, like gym fail culture or whatever. Gym fail nation has like a bunch of. So he posted like Silver Surfer and like by himself. He's like the bro that goes to the gym like all the time solo.
Right.
But it's funny because it's like you can laugh at it, but it's also like true. Like, I guess for me, I'm just like, yo, like, I need to be alone. Like, this is such a personal journey for me, like doing everything at the gym, that I just like enjoy lifting alone. Like, I don't know what to call it. I'm not saying I don't like lifting with friends because once in a while I definitely lift with a friend. When I'm with my wife, she's doing her own thing and I'm doing my own thing. Like, and that's just the way I kind of like it. But
you got one friend who's listening to this. Like, wait, so that day he lifted with me, he didn't like it. There's one friend right now, like, damn, I thought he enjoyed that workout.
Funny. Yeah, that's so funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, so I mean, there's a friend now that I haven't even met up with in a while, but we're supposed to like lift at some point together again. But
yeah,
it just really happens, you know, like.
But yeah, man, like, I mean, we're slowly starting to come to a close.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any big points that, you know, maybe after taking those notes or anything. If there's anything I missed that you want to share, I'll just open the floor right now.
Yeah, man. I think a big takeaway, a big takeaway for me is, and once again, I'm not trying to sound motivational, guys, but at the end of the day, yes, I guess I am. But we do really have the power to control every fucking thing in our environment. Like, literally, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and yes, I'm a fitness, or not quotation, but I'm a fitness professional, and I'm able to eat a certain way and live life a certain way, and that's because I just choose to do things a certain way, and you can too. You have to make the decision though to do it. Like, yes, it's cool that, you know, I'm able to train people and help change their lives, but for everyone out there that hasn't had the opportunity to work with a personal trainer, in the process of choosing one, you can start making these changes on your own outside of training. Like, you can literally change the environment around you. You can control things where it feels like, wow, like this is my environment. I'm not talking about being inside your house. I'm talking about like anywhere you feel like you're in control because you choose to do that. You're just being so intentional about everything that it just feels like you have so much control over your life. And I think that's just a great way to yeah.
Yeah, you're giving people the confidence that's needed to embark on that journey. Because some people feel a bit helpless or whatever, but you can step up. You can be the creator of your own life, of your own destiny. You can actually make change and make yourself better, and you can be intentional about that.
100%. I'm not saying this is easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not. But it is simple, if that makes sense.
Yes, that actually does.
It's like those little choices that you choose to, like, I love my mom to death. I joke on my mom all the time. My mom, if she watches this, but I called her. I mean, she called me today on FaceTime, and I called her, and I answered the call. She was in bed. It was like, mid-morning or whatever. I was like, Mom, what are you doing in bed? And she's like, she decided to lay there. I was like, okay. Like, just don't be mad. Don't tell nobody you don't have no time. Like, that, you had the time. You could have gotten out of bed a long time ago.
Mom's like, Chris, how you put my business out there?
Exactly. She's like, Chris, what the hell's wrong with you? No, I love you, Mom. You know that. I'm just using her as an example because it's fresh in my head, but.
I could do the same with my mom. She's pretty good though.
Yeah.
She's 50-50, but there's times I have to tell her, like, just walk around the block. Just walk around the block,
I think, you can probably agree with this, is I think it's so tough, kind of just like, I feel like the fitness industry is a tough space to be in sometimes, when it comes to, like, you're not really normal amongst many people, just the way you live your life, and you choose certain things over other things because you're so serious about your fitness and about just like your health and all that. So you kind of become like this outcast a little bit from family, friends, all that, because you live your life so different.
It's abnormal to be healthy.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's actually crazy. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I could agree with that, especially with diet. There's certain things I'm like, damn, I don't want to even eat that right now. Like, Thanksgiving dinners and stuff, and when someone cooked it, and I'm like, I feel bad because now, but now I'm the bad guy if I don't. But
yeah, but also I think it's worth mentioning that you can go to Thanksgiving, and if you're not you, but like in general, if you're really adhering to a diet where you're 100%, like 90% always doing what you got to do, enjoy Thanksgiving. It's not that serious. Like, you don't want to be hated by your family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, I would say there is, though, there's actually some things. The reason I made that comment was something specifically related to salt. For some reason, salt, it was so salty, but that can give me like a headache, like right away. But when it comes to like sweets or other things, I agree with you, or anything in someone's diet. I'm, talking too personal. But in fact, I would say not only is it okay, like you're going to be fine that one time that you're at Thanksgiving dinner eating, it might even be good so that your body is not so fragile, right? Like, you should be able to get bumped up a bit and come back. Like, in fact, the body needs to go through some stress in order to get better at things in life, and like, you need to keep the system going. Like, there's some people that like are afraid of every little germ, or like, it's okay to get a little dirty. It's okay to eat some things that aren't the best sometimes. And in fact, I would encourage it a bit, so this way your system's prepared to fight and has a little bit of, it's not so fragile.
Yeah, I think it goes to like the gut microbiome conversation. Just having the variety of foods in your system, literally, it's just to improve your overall metabolic processes. But I will say this too, though. People, you mentioned, like, are scared of different things, and that actually inhibits their health, like, or good health, like, because they're scared of, and I blame social media, by the way.
Right.
And I blame the SAR industry, period, but whatever. People are scared to eat certain things, and it's like, yo, you're actually hurting yourself.
A whole nother stress factor you're dying from there.
You're not getting a certain macronutrients or micronutrients, and your body is actually suffering. And I think a lot of the times, we don't know what's going on in these people's lives, but they're not healthy. And they're actually doing what they think is healthy because so and so told them this, or charlatan online told them to buy this. Right. And whatever. Yeah. We can go down that route.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, because that's a whole nother stress factor that will kill you. If you're afraid of everything in life, you're constantly in this state of fear. Yeah. And that's definitely damaging your body, probably more than the cookie did.
Yeah, exactly. Just have a cookie. It's okay.
Yeah. So as we come to a close here, I always like to keep people connected with the guest, right? So what's a good way for people to stay connected with you, whether it's Instagram, social media, professionally? Can people work with you?
Instagram, I'm mostly on that. The Chris Parnell, and for you to connect.
How do you spell Parnell? For them?
Parnell. So cool. The Chris Parnell. The Chris Parnell, the comedian, actually, I think he's created an Instagram late.
Okay.
So he wants to sell mine, and he likes a few more stuff. Beat you to it.
That's cool.
No, and people always ask me, hey, wait, Chris Parnell? Wait. I'm like, relax, okay. I'm the other one, but yes.
I'm the other one.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And the Parnell plan, people can work with me and my team. We provide personalized training, 3 months at a minimum, so 12 weeks. And if you are just looking for a program to do on your own, the Parnell plan, we have training programs, $9.99 a month. You can literally just go through a bunch of programs. They all range from anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, I believe. And and you also have access to nutritional guidelines as well on the site. And there's a community forum on the site. There's a bunch of things, so you can all stay in contact on the site.
Awesome. Yeah. Still doing some work at the lab? You're always up to date on the new research. I see your posts that come out, and
have to, man.
It's good for people to know that, who the people that are really on the A game, and you're on top of it. You know your stuff.
Appreciate it. Man, I think we have to be. I think, just going back to personal training, I think you have to be, man. I remember when I first started, and clients would ask me about, hey, what's creatine and what's and I'm like, oh, it's good for you. Giving these little answers, and looking back, I'm cringing at. I didn't even know anything, but luckily, these people still trust me with their fitness, and I don't know what I was doing, but whatever. But I think
you're here now. We all have a growth process. Dude. You're just saying, look at my old posts, and maybe you guys shouldn't look at my old posts. So, but. Thank you so much for today. This is awesome. We made it happen.
Yeah, we made it happen, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your patience too. You had a big journey to get
crazy
to work.
Day. Yes, let's go. See you guys later.
Peace.